What's up, guys? Fudge here, coming back at you with another week of Miss Every Move Simulator. Just kidding, another draft game. This one is in another league I'm playing in, the CTHBL, and this is actually going to be round 1 of playoffs against Lyrickz, somebody who I've never played up against before, but he does have a very scary team, so I've got the matchup pulled up here. Some very big threats, notably Darkrai, Thundurus, Victini, and Metagross. Metagross having the option to Terra into, I believe, a water or fairy type on his team. These four altogether, offensively, are extremely scary for me, so I think he brings all four. It's been very difficult with the team I have to prep against that, so hopefully I've got the tools I need. That combined with, I think, Beedrill comes just for the speed, and then as for his 6th Mon, it really could be a multitude of things. I think Quagsire has a pretty high likelihood of coming. I could also see a world where maybe the Trevenant comes. Trevenant doesn't seem all too bad against my team. Neither does Dragalge, and he maybe might want to try and bring the Terra Bastiodon. But definitely I think Darkrai, Metagross, Thundurus, and Victini, and Beedrill, and then the 5th Mon. I'm thinking probably Quagsire, but we will see, I suppose. Here's what I am bringing in an attempt to take down this very intimidating offensive core. First and foremost, in the top left corner here, I have Landorus, my first round draft pick, my first pick. I had the first pick of the entire league, actually, and this is what I picked first at 20 points. He is going to be my win con this game. Scarf Landorus with enough speed to creep the base 145 max speed Beedrill. I wouldn't usually, anticipate him to bring max speed Beedrill, but I think he would be max speed, if not pretty close, to make sure he outspeeds my Zeraora, who's only 2 points slower than him at base. So I made sure I brought enough speed just in case he was, max speed Jolly Mega Beedrill. Went Scarfed and physical this time around. Earthquake, Rock Slide, mostly for the Thundurus to beat him. Superpower, mostly so I can nuke that Darkrai if he thinks he can outspeed me. Maybe in the late game, if I find out the Darkrai is not Scarfed, then this can become a good check for it. And U-turn just for momentum. Matchup-wise, I really plan on bringing this guy in pretty late in the game, just to clean up house. I don't anticipate using him too much in the early game, but we'll see. Next up, this really cool Jirachi set with Colberberry. Colberberry is here for a multitude of reasons. Could absorb a knockoff pretty well from something like a Mega Beedrill or a Thundurus, for example, knockoff, or maybe Dark Pulse if he's a special set. But also takes the Dark Pulse from Darkrai pretty well when it's got this activated, and Moonblast does a very solid chunk to the Darkrai back. So if I ever get the Darkrai chipped, and the Darkrai thinks it's safe to click a Dark Pulse against my Jirachi, who still has quite a bit of health, and this berry's still up, I can actually tank it. It does 30-something% if he's max special attack, and I got the Colberberry up. Tank it pretty well, and kill it with a Moonblast back if he's chipped. As for the rest of the set, the Doom Desire, max special attack, modest nature Jirachi, that's a base 140 power steel type future sight, which does a lot of damage to this team. Even things that were resisting this move in mocks, such as Metagross, we're taking like 40% from this attack, so this is very, very good if I can get that off. Otherwise, U-turn just for positioning, and wish to keep things on my team that don't have very good recovery alive for longer. Okay. Third Mon is this Marowak, probably going to be my lead in all likelihood this week, because I really like the idea of getting rocks up early against his team. He doesn't have any Rapid Spinners. He does have 4 Defoggers, but I'm not sure how likely he is to bring the move. We'll see, but if he doesn't have Defog or too many pairs of boots, things like Thundurus, Victini, Beedrill are all weak to rocks, so they take about 25% every time they come in. So rocks are going to be extremely good for chip. Also getting chip on something like the Darkrai to get him in that Moonblast range I already talked about will be extremely helpful. Otherwise, this is just max HP, max Phys Def to deal with things like the Victini, things like the Metagross if he's not Terra Water, but even then Metagross can really do a number on me. This is really here for Victini though, primarily, and maybe like the Trevenant or something. But still, like, I can come in on Metagross, or if Metagross leads against me, I can click a pretty free Will-O-Wisp, get rocks up early, Shadowbone actually does pretty good damage to like 4 of his mons, right? Mega Beedrill has like terrible physical defense, and Victini, Metagross, and Trevenant are pretty weak to it. So that's the set. I don't know how long this guy's going to live in the fight, but we'll see if we can keep him around for later in the game to switch into Victini or Metagross a couple times, hopefully. Next, I have Hydrapple here, whose image still isn't on Showdown, even though he's been out for, what, 6 months? So, cool. Anyway, he's Assault Vest this week, Regenerator, this is one of my Terra captains. I'm bringing Terra Fairy this week with a pretty, you know, laid out EV spread, I guess I could say, right? Spread out EV spread. 4 attacks, right, obviously, because I'm AV, Draco Meteor, Giga Drain, in case I can get healthy off a Quagsire or something and he slips up. Earth Power, ground's good coverage against this team with like things that might want to come in against me, like the Victini, or maybe the Dragalge. You know, I wouldn't do too much, but it would still be doing super effective damage, or the Metagross. And Terra Blast Fairy, really there for Darkrai, more than anything. Hisuian Quillfish, another good check to a lot of his mons with the Eviolite, so it's a pretty darn good switch into most Victini sets. This comes in on Darkrai pretty well too, because the best move Darkrai can really hit me with reliably is Ice Beam. Yes, Focus Blast would do more, but obviously it is 70% accurate. But this is really going to be a good switch in to a lot of things. So Crunch is there for, again, the multitude of Psychic and Ghost types he has on his team. Could do a decent amount of damage. Barb Barrage, maybe snag some poisons, spikes, so I don't, you know, lose too much out of turns when Quillfish is on the field, because with this EV spread he's really not doing that much damage with those attacks anyway. But if I can get some spikes up, it can really make that time on the field worthwhile in the long run for the game. And Pain Split just to keep it healthy. This was one of the mons alongside Marowak. Yeah, they have Pain Split, but they're not the most reliable recovery moves in the game. And so that's really part of the reason I wanted to have this Wish Jirachi to maybe get those guys back up to full if I have the opportunity to do so. That's also a particularly like slow Jirachi set, so a lot of things on his team are going to be able to outspeed it, and so I could get some slow Wish U-turns off potentially into one of these mons to keep them up. Finally, final mon, I was debating this slot for a while between like Archeops and maybe Blastoise or Cryogonal for Rapid Spin, but I just decided to bring a pair of boots on the Marowak, and not much on my team was weak to rocks after I made these changes. I finally ended up going with Zeraora just because it could be a pretty good Darkrai check, actually, with the Assault Vest Close Combat combination. And this guy also doesn't really care about much that the Thundurus can do to it. My 4 moves are Plasma Fists, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Return. Plasma Fist just for stab, Close Combat mainly for the Darkrai. Knockoff is just good, get rid of items, and Return is honestly for the Thundurus 1v1. He's also got Volt Absorb, so he's probably going to come in thinking I can't do much to him, but Return actually is like a 2 or 3 hit KO depending on the spread, especially if he's taking rocks, so the Zeraora can 1v1 it pretty well. Alright, that's it for the team builder. Hopefully this week goes a little better than the last video I made. For those of you who watched that, you know. But yeah, I'll see you guys when I get into game. Alright, what is up guys? Fodge here back again, jumping into game against Lyrickz. Now, one of the first things I noticed here is that Victini did not come, which is interesting. Kind of happy about it, to be honest. He brought the Dragalge and the Florges. A little surprised about the Florges, so I'm not really sure what that's here for, so we'll see. I'm going to tell him good luck, have fun as well. And I think I'm going to stick with the original game plan. Lead with Marowak and try and get up the rocks as soon as I possibly can. If I'm not mistaken here, does he have any defoggers? I kind of forget who they were, to be completely honest with you. But anyway, if he does have defog, it's no big deal. I think my plan's the same. I'm going to lead Marowak, get up my rocks as soon as I can. Maybe if he leads with a physical attacker like Metagross or something that I want to tag with a burn, I'll burn it. But if he leads Darkrai, that's really the only bad lead for me here. because if he does that, then I will probably immediately hard swap into Quillfish was the original game plan. Let's see what Dragalge set this is. Jirachi should be able to come in on it pretty freely because, you know, if it's specs, adaptability, it probably wants to lock itself into one of its stab moves if I were to guess, so I'm immune to the poison typing, and I am resisting the dragon move if he does elect to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and link the live battle so that people can come on in and watch live if they want, and hopefully Lyrickz will pick his lead shortly here. Feeling pretty nervous about this one, especially after how the last playoff game went. Again, those who know. But, you know, feeling pretty confident. Just a little nervous about, you know, the Dragalge and the Florges that I haven't really mocked for. The other four I do feel pretty comfortable with, but we'll see how it goes. I'm assuming it's some sort of, like, specially defensive Florges, maybe since I've been bringing, like, special landers all the time. That's my guess. Not too scared of it, though. I think I do have the tools to handle it. I guess, now that I think about it, you know, it's pretty good into me, considering I've been bringing a lot of special Landorus and Hydra Apple, so I think it makes sense. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. I personally am looking forward to the weekend. I wonder if Lyrickz is still here because he's taken a while. But yeah, I've got the damage calculator here with my imported sets locked and loaded, ready to go. Marowak's already selected, so I am ready, feeling good. I noticed in my last video I was definitely clicking moves a lot faster than I usually would. A lot less commitment on my plays, so I'm going to try and slow myself down. When I get talking for a video, I think I start to talk really fast, think really fast, and just kind of press buttons. I'm going to try and take my time a little bit more here and think about all the potential possible outcomes for each turn. Kind of soak in info a little bit more as I go, because I didn't notice things in my last match that I probably definitely should have noticed. We see Beedrill lead here, so let me pull up Beedrill in the calculator, the Mega Beedrill, see what is going on here. Knockoff is not a one-shot. It's not even a two-shot, neither is Drill Run, so I think he's either going to click that or he's going to click U-turn. I think I'm pretty safe to get up my rocks here. I'm not too scared of anything he might want to do. He might even just hard swap, I don't know. But I think rocks is the freest play here. I got a really good and favorable lead matchup here, which is nice to see. Getting rocks early up against his team is going to be huge, especially since he brought this Beedrill, which cannot be holding heavy-duty boots since it has to be Mega in this league. And his Thunderous, we'll see if it's boots, but either way, the rocks does neutral damage against the Darkrai, Dragalge, and Florges as well, so it's going to be good chip. So my play is going to be the same every time. I was playing around with a few versions of the set where I had like Flare Blitz, for example, and Poltergeist, but Flare Blitz I took out because I didn't really think it was good against too many mons on his team. Okay, so he does elect to go for the knockoff. I got the Cursed Body proc there, which is pretty cool. And I think here I can get a pretty free Pain Split off. My usual temptation would be to maybe hit this thing because it has terrible defense. I mean, it would do over 50%. But Pain Split is literally free against anyone on his team right now. And it'll keep my Marowak a little healthier. I don't know if he's going to stay in. If he has the Drill Run, it does have the potential to kill me. He did get kind of a high roll with that knockoff, which is a bit unfortunate. But I think my play is the same every time here. I'm going to click Pain Split. I'm predicting he's going to U-turn out or just hard swap. Yep, so there it is. And I'm going to get some good chip on something here and keep my Marowak healthy, which is cool. We'll see what he elects to bring in. Again, he should probably be fearing either a Flare Blitz or a Will-O-Wisp, so that's probably going to impact his decision. Another thing I was playing around with on this Marowak for a while was whether to bring Lightning Rod or Cursed Body. I had Lightning Rod on it for a while, but then I realized, like, you know, Thunderous usually always packs a dark move, so I don't really want to be bringing this in, especially if it happens to be like a special Thunderous, like if it's Specs or something. Dark Pulse would absolutely destroy my FizzDef Marowak anyway, regardless of being, whatchamacallit, Volt Absorb or not, or Lightning Rod or not. But another reason is because I brought this Zeraora on the team with Volt Absorb, right? I already have this as an electric immunity and Landorus as an electric immunity, so I didn't think I really needed 3. So I figured I would just bring Cursed Body to see if I could get some cheesy disables on some big moves like I just did, which is good. I'm glad I brought it. Now in terms of this Thunderous, the problem with this mon is it can be so many things. My dedicated check for it is this Zeraora. Doing some calcs now to see what is happening to this Marowak if I do decide to stay in. Should he go for Nasty Plot here, my Zeraora should still win that 1v1, so I think I'm going to go Zeraora every time here. Pretty free swap for me. I think the worst thing that could happen is either he Nasty Plots, or if he's a physical set and goes for knockoff, losing my item would kind of suck, but this thing may get defogged too. I remember using the team builder and figuring out he had 4 defoggers. I honestly forget what it was, but I assume this thing's one of them because it's a flying type, and I'm pretty sure the incarnate form gets defogged, so this thing probably does as well. Yeah, we'll check out how much this is doing. He does go for the Dark Pulse, so good swap there on my part. And I'm pretty sure a knockoff now from my perspective is absolutely free on anything on his team, except for, you know, Beedrill wouldn't be able to lose its item, but it still takes over 50% from it, plus Rock's Chip. So I think this is a very free knockoff. If I catch this Thunderous with it, then it's going to be losing its heavy-duty boots, and if he wants to switch out, then he will die to rocks next time he comes in. If he does swap, then I get a nice item knocked off on something. So I'm pretty pumped about the position I'm in right now, to be honest. Again, this is almost max speed, full attack, Zeraora, with Assault Vest, so it's got a little bit of bulk on the special side. I'm kind of happy to see the special Thunderous, which means he probably has, you know, 4 special mons, 2 physical mons, which means my 2 Assault Vests and my Eviolite Quillfish with a little bit of Spadef are going to be really happy to take some hits now. Probably going to save my Marowak's HP bar at this point for any more Beedrill switch-ins or Metagross. One thing to note too is the only Terra Captain we see here is the Metagross. It's not Terra Preview Draft, so he could be either Terra Water or Terra Fairy. He could also elect to not Terra at all this game, so we'll see what he chooses to do. But he's really taking his time with his moves here. Honestly, kind of to be expected because he's in a bad situation. The knockoff, unfortunately, doesn't quite get him into range of dying to rocks again, and he does in fact show the defog, so that's totally fine. Let me pull the Thunderous back on the calculator here. The knockoff did about 41%, so that does tell me he's probably got a little bit of HP or physical bulk or both. 41%, if I assume that's like a mid-roll. Curious to see if I can kill it with another knockoff now that he doesn't have an item. I'm pretty confident I can. I could click return here for the guaranteed kill, but I think he may want to swap and preserve this. Or am I reading too much into things? I mean, knockoff has a really good chance to kill if that was a mid-roll, so I'm going to go for it. And if he does switch out, regardless of what he swaps into, he does in fact still get punished by taking some chip and losing his item. I mean, return could be good, right? Like, I'm thinking, like, he probably, now that he sees knockoff, doesn't go into Metagross here. If anything, he may go into Florges, so the return would do more damage there too, but I really like the idea of knocking off an item. I don't really want to second guess my plays right now, because a couple times last week I did click this cancel button and change my mind, and it bit me in the ass, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to lock into my move, and we are going to pick up the kill regardless of him not having an item. So that's fantastic. He gives me the Thundurus here, so I assume that's his dedicated Defogger since he showed it off. So if I could get rocks up again, I would assume that they will stay up permanently, which is great. Because again, it's really good against that Beedrill. Really limits the number of times he can come in, and it does neutral damage against 3 of his other mons, even the Metagross too if he decides to tear out of that Steel type. So I'm really liking my positioning in here, right? He gives me a kill and I'm out on my fastest mon right now, which is phenomenal. So if he doesn't go Beedrill, then I should outspeed anything that comes in and be able to hit them. If he does go Beedrill, it'll be a tough call to see if he's packing the Drill Run or not, is really my main concern. I think my answer regardless is going Marowak, and if he, hits me with a Drill Run because I'm an electric type, then well played. I mean, I'm curious to see, like, how much is the Drill Run doing? The Drill Run does kill the Zeraora from this range always, which sucks. I was wondering if there was a world where I could maybe stay in, tank the hit, and just kill him back, which would be really cool. But I mean, if you think, I think if he goes into anything except for that Beedrill right now, I just hit it. We'll see. Because I'm AV, right? So if he goes into any of those special attackers, I don't think they kill me in one hit. I'd honestly love to see Darkrai here. Maybe we'll just fire off a close combat. He's still in a really bad position. I knew the key to this matchup, he has a really scary team, and the key to this matchup was getting the lead matchup right. Marowak, I think Quillfish was really my safest lead, and I talked about this a lot with AC1 when I mocked. I think Quillfish was really my safest lead, but it really didn't start the game off with a lot of momentum, which was unfortunate. Marowak was a little bit riskier, but if I got the lead matchup right, the game would go really well, and so far I'm really well positioned, which is great. I also, moved around sets quite a bit. I originally had Stealth Rocks on Jirachi, and I was going to lead Jirachi, but we found out that Jirachi Doom Desire was really good, and I figured I wanted another attack on there, as well as Wish and pivoting, so I really ran into 4 move slot syndrome there. Luckily, moving the Stealth Rocks over to the Marowak and getting the lead matchup right turned out to be fantastic. So, no regrets thus far. Lyrickz is really thinking hard about what he wants to go into here, so we'll see what he decides to do. Again, I think anything would be good except for the Beedrill. And then from there, we really have to hope he doesn't have Drill Run, is what it comes down to. Now that I look at this, I guess I do have 4 ground weaknesses on my team, so the ground switch-ins are pretty limited at this point. Metagross, I'm not sure if I would want to stay in and take the hit from Metagross. I don't think trading my HP against that would be worthwhile here. I think, much like if the Beedrill comes in, I think going into Marowak, seeing what he does, and more than likely sacking off the Marowak is going to be okay. He did say he might have internet issues, so I am hoping he's still here. Doesn't say that he's left, so that's good. I think he's just taking his time, maybe calculating some stuff to figure out what he wants to do. He does end up going into the Beedrill. Again, I have determined that I don't take a Drill Run. I don't want to go Landorus, even though it's a ground immunity, because I don't want to risk the potential of him knocking off my Choice Scarf, because Choice Scarf is really key to my endgame. So I think I am just going to go into the Marowak. If he goes for knockoff or U-turn, I have no problem with that. If he goes for Drill Run, he does 2-hit KO me, but that's okay. He goes for U-turn, so this Marowak's going to stick around, gets another Cursed Body proc on his way out anyway, so that doesn't matter, but I presume he goes Darkrai here, and my dedicated Darkrai switch in at this point in the game is going to be the Quillfish. Hydrapple is also there for Darkrai once he Terras into the Fairy type, because I don't want to risk switching in against an Ice Beam. Again, I've got to swap. If he does elect to go for like a nasty plot on the switch, here's the deal, right? He can either be a choiced item variant of the Darkrai, whether it be a Specs or a Scarf, right? Or like a Nasty Plot version. If he's Nasty Plot here, I probably do have to give my Quillfish and trade him for some chip. But if he is a Nasty Plot set, or if I do calc it and see that his damage is Specs, right, then I know that my Landorus can come in and outspeed it with a Choice Scarf later, killing it with a Superpower, or even my Zeraora could come in and guaranteed outspeed it and kill it with a CC. So, you know, if Quillfish does end up going down here, which is, you know, not outside of the question by any means, I know I can revenge this Darkrai. Okay, so I'm going to go Quillfish. Do see the Dark Pulse does about 22%. Which is within the role if he's just normal, no damage boosting item. So Scarf is still a possibility, and so is, you know, any other item in like a potential setup set. I kind of want to see what he's going to do. I want to get a layer of spikes up. If he chooses to set up here, then again, the situation is the same as before. I get the information that he is not a choiced item, and I can revenge it later with one of my fast mons. If he is a choiced item, then he's likely going to swap here. I don't see him just clicking Dark Pulse until Kingdom Come, to be honest. So we'll see what he elects to do here. But again, I really do feel like I have the positional advantage here, so still really happy with this game state as it stands. Once again, Lyrickz is really taking his time, which is, again, totally fine. I don't blame him because I do feel like he's in a little bit of a rough situation here. I get a layer of spikes up, which, again, I don't believe he can remove. He goes into Dragalge here, which, again, admittedly I did not prep for whatsoever. And the spec set does about 55% max to my Jirachi, so I think the Jirachi switch is fine. If he flip turns out, it's going to do like very little damage and then he gets momentum, which from his perspective seems good. But I don't really want to leave my Quillfish out to die here, especially seeing as he swapped, right? So I would not be surprised at all if that is Scarf Darkrai. So this Quillfish becomes actually a very good check to Scarf Darkrai. The Quillfish would lose to like a Specs Ice Beam or a Nasty Plot set, but now that I'm pretty sure he, you know, he's not Specs and he may not be set up either, I'm fairly confident he's Scarfed. So I think keeping this thing around is worthwhile, and I'm gonna go Jirachi. He does go for the flip turn for the momentum, gets a crit here, which kind of sucks. It does a little more chip than I would have liked, but whatever. Wouldn't be one of my games if I didn't get some sort of misfortune along the way, you know what I mean? Wouldn't be Pokemon either. So, now that I'm in with the Jirachi, I'm curious to see what his answer is going to be. If he goes back in the Darkrai, then I just go Quillfish, and we end up in the same situation where I have more Prio, and I either get another layer of spikes up, or I can Pain Split off the damage, which is really cool. Again, I need to remind myself what range Darkrai needs to be at in order for this Moonblast to kill. After a couple rounds of spikes, it is a guaranteed 2-hit KO after 1 layer of spikes. If I get 2 layers of spikes up, it's got a 25% chance to OHKO. Okay. His answer is Metagross, which is interesting. I mean, again, I'm getting Spike's chip, right? I think the answer to this is once again just hard swapping into my Marowak. If he dies, that's fine. I should be able to get some information here. And he's just going to go for the knockoff. Okay. Knockoff did 52 to this Marowak without an item on it. Which looks to be banded. Actually, that's not max attack. Hang on. Did 52? Yeah, that's banded. Alright, let me type in choice band. Yeah, okay, banded Metagross. Cool. Good information. Okay, so I know that's choice band Metagross. I'm gonna try and get off a last ditch effort pain split, but it's not gonna work. Okay. So choice band Metagross, huh? How much does that do to a Terra Fairy Hydrapple? If he's not actually choice banned, I'm going to be really sad, but I'm like 99.9% sure he is based on that damage. Didn't take Life Orb chip or anything. That would be too much damage for even like a Black Glasses would be so weird, something like that. Right, if I didn't have an item. Yeah, there's no way that's 52% unless he is banded. I didn't see Life Orb once again. If he got an absolute high roll with Expert Belt, still does not do that much. Okay, so I'm pretty confident he is going to be the choice band here. So let's see what that does to Hydrapple when I'm Terra'd into a Fairy type. Not much at all. I will lose my Assault Vest, which kind of sucks, but truthfully I don't see him staying in on this. And his Earth Power switch-ins aren't great. I mean, he does have the Florges, but... Alternatively, I could go Quillfish, but then I lose my Eviolite, which sucks for the Darkrai. I think I do go Hydrapple. I might just fire off I think a Terra Blast would be the best middle ground play. Right, like, well, regardless, I'm not doing too much damage to this Florges, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what's coming in here. Earth Power actually does more to the Florges. Oh no, that's if I wasn't Terra. I mean, we're talking about 5% damage here. I think I'm going to Terra Fairy and just click the Earth Power. On the off chance he stays in and doesn't Terra, I should do a lot of damage. So, and this should also, you know, catch Dragalge if he tries to come in with that. Do super effective damage to it. He does Terra Fairy. He is banded. Alright, so that confirms it. And at this point, probably just going to Giga Drain. Goes into Florges, I'm going to get my HP back. Would have gotten it back with a Regenerator anyway. Okay. I think on this I go Jirachi and I'm able to get a Doom Desire up every time. Truthfully. Alright, or at least threaten it out, because he has no information about my Jirachi at this point. All he saw is that he came in, took a crit flip turn, and then left, right? So he could be fearing the Iron Head. He's got the Draining Kiss on the Florges. Totally fine. I'm gonna click Doom Desire. This does so much damage to anything on his team, so setting this is going to be a lot of pressure. I did almost consider going Doom Desire and Flash Cannon just for this Florges. Which now that it's here, I kind of wish I did. But, I mean, Doom Desire does 80 to 95 to this Florges. If it's Fizz Def, does more if it's... or it does less if it's Spadef, but still it's a solid amount of damage regardless. He does go into Dragalge into this, which is a little strange. Seeing as this was my answer to the Dragalge last time. Are there any moves that Dragalge gets that I'm not aware of that would smoke my Jirachi right now? Let me take a quick look. Do you get any fire moves? I know he's a dragon. Gets Focus Blast, but whatever. He does get Shadow Ball. Okay. So let's calc like a Specs Shadow Ball. See how much that does. Just in case that's what's coming my way. I don't know that I really want to take the chip, if that is the case, but regardless, I should be fast enough. I know I don't have any speed investment, but I am guaranteed faster than this unless he's scarfed, so I'm going to click U-turn. Might be playing a little scared here, but we'll see. Let's see how much Zeraora takes from Shadow Ball. Not too much. I feel like Zeraora is pretty expendable at this point. Actually, let me look at Hydra Apple. I'm gonna go Hydra Apple. Actually, I got my AV knocked off. Maybe I'm playing too scared. I mean, if it's Draco, well played. I don't know what he's gonna be. It is Draco, but he's not Specs. It's good information. I think I'm gonna just fire off another knockoff, to be honest. Seems pretty free, gets this thing pretty low. He loses his item, whatever it is. Did he take Spikes damage, actually? Yeah, he did. Okay, I was gonna say that. I just miss heavy duty boots. So he's not Specs, he did 52. I am dead to the next Draco. So if he wants to stay in and just... Okay, he's AV. He clicks Sludge Wave and I live. And he takes Doom Desire and dies. Oh my god, I feel bad. I live on 1. He didn't want to miss the 90% accurate move like I always do. Even I forgot Doom Desire was up, to be completely honest. That move just does work, man. I think regardless, I would have been okay there, but... Okay, Beedrill does come in. He is faster. I'm honestly very strongly considering keeping the Zeraora around. Just as either a sack or... like, something that can outspeed. Well, he's got Bullet Punch on the Metagross. Could be Scarfed on Darkrai. It would really only be here for Florges, which I do think I still have the tools to deal with, so I don't think I actually keep this around. Now that I think about it. I think I do let this thing go. I think either way his play is probably to just U-turn out, or maybe knock off or something, trying to predict something. But I think I do sack here regardless, and then, yeah, he stays in. Okay, glad I didn't swap into Quillfish, because then I would have lost my Eviolite. I think I'm going to go into Quillfish now, though. Crunch does 73% max, so that is a 2-hit KO, and I do win out on that 1v1, especially when he's intimidated. Okay, I think that's my play. Honestly, Pain Split doesn't even sound that bad here, but I'm going to go Crunch. He does choose to knock off the Eviolite. I'm going to get big damage off on the Beedrill here. And... I'm just going to go for the Crunch again. He is going to U-turn. I thought about the Pain Split. I really did. Quillfish is putting in work. Staying alive for a lot longer than I thought he would, to be honest. The Pain Split there would have been sick. But again, I'm really getting good chip on his team with these spikes. And actually, if I... yeah, never mind. I was going to say, if I get Stealth Rocks again, this thing's just dead, but my Marowak's gone, so... I do have Scarf Lando, though, that's guaranteed faster than this. I just need to make sure he's not Scarf Darkrai, which I'm pretty sure he is, which sucks. Something's gonna have to come in and take the crunch. I mean, I assume it's gonna be Florges. Alright, if it is Florges, he did reveal he was Draining Kiss, so I don't know if he has, like, Moonblast. Let's see if Draining Kiss even kills. It does, most likely. Actually, it depends on his spread. If he's got any special attack investment, it does, but we'll see. If I get another layer of spikes off, actually... If I get another layer of spikes off, I think that limits the number of times this Beedrill can come in by one more turn. Right, I think he would die to 2 rounds of spikes if I got another one up. I guess it does about 16% if I've got 2 up. That might be the play. I don't know that... Well, it's banned in Metagross, right? So he probably does kill me with Bullet Punch if he decides to go into that. This Metagross is scary. This Metagross is definitely scary. He's pretty chipped though. If Metagross comes in here, I think I actually take the damage on it. Because again, I know I can beat this Beedrill with the Landorus. So I don't think I care if he is still alive. But like Bullet Punch Metagross and the potential Scarf Darkrai are very scary. I do think I definitely still have the tools to win this game. I don't by any means think it's won though. It's a pretty close game actually. Lyrickz did a really good job at bouncing back from his positioning deficit early in the game. But I do really have good chip on a lot of mons, which is nice to see. Really taking his time with this one. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I feel like the crunch is obvious from my perspective, but... Right, I mean, I just used it to get him that low. He's dead to another one. Maybe Bar Barrage would have been actually crazy. Maybe Bar Barrage was the play. Because you know what, if he stayed in, he takes the Bar Barrage damage, he may die to that. It's a roll. But even if he doesn't, he dies next time he comes into Spikes, or to my Scarf Lando. And Bar Barrage is super effective against the now Fairy-type Metagross, the Fairy-type Florges, and does neutral damage against that, so... I mean, again, I don't know why he's taking so long. Now that I think about it, yeah, Crunch is resisted by all 3 of these. Bar Barrage probably was the play. But can't change it now because he's on his U-turn, so... That's alright. I still think Crunch is good, especially if I get like a defense drop. I would assume he's debating between Metagross and Florges. I don't think the Darkrai... Well, I guess Darkrai should probably be able to kill me with like an Ice Beam from here. Now that I have my Eviolite gone. You know what, I kind of threw actually. I think I should have gone Lando instead of giving this Quillfish's HP away. After killing... what's it called? After killing Dragalge? Or after sacking my Zeraora? I definitely should have gone Lando. That would have been a really strong position. Oh well. Okay, Thistle is in. So again, I did calc this. He is likely slower than me. I think I do want more spikes up. Bar Barrage has a chance to kill if he's not I think I go Bar Barrage. I think I do, because it has a chance to kill if he's not Fizz Def. Okay, he's faster. Okay, that's good information. So he's got quite a bit of speed on this Florges, and the Draining Kiss was enough to kill me. So he's pretty fast, actually. I'm going to take this opportunity and get another Doom Desire off, because this move's crazy. So this Florges definitely has some speed investment, and definitely has some Spatak investment, which is interesting, to say the least. I am at a Pokemon disadvantage here. I really do think I should have gone Lando on the Beedrill earlier. It was a bit of a throw. That would have been a really, really strong pin. I could have just locked myself in Earthquake and hit anything. Ah. Lost my Quillfish for kind of nothing, to be honest. Okay, he does go Beedrill on the Doom Desire. Unfortunate. I do have my Colbur Berry for this, though. But man, I would really like to keep it for the Darkrai, but I don't think I can here. I don't want to get knocked off of my Landorus. I don't want to take a poison move on this guy. I think I gotta stay in and kill it and proc my my berry here, unfortunately. Unfortunate as is. Fortunately, I do have my Hydrapple already Terra'd now, though, so like he could be the dedicated Darkrai dealer with her, if you will. And once this Beedrill goes down, right, he was probably going to use this Beedrill as his like dedicated like Doom Desire taker because he's already low. But once this Beedrill goes down, he's not really going to have that sack. He could also just U-turn here. That's very possible. But the knockoff into the Colbur Berry only does about 30%, so yeah, and that's what he is going to decide to do. I'm going to U-turn, get the kill, and get positioning. And I think I'm going to come out in a Lando here. It's my fastest mon. I think if he goes Florges or Darkrai, I immediately go into my Hydrapple. If he goes Metagross, alright, we know it's banded, for a fact. We know it's banded. Bullet Punch does about 40% to me. Any of his stronger, lower priority moves do kill me. As a Terra Fairy Metagross, I can't kill him yet. So my play, if he goes, excuse me, if he goes into Metagross, would probably be to U-turn into Lake Jirachi. I think Jirachi is my least vital piece at this point. And if I take the Bullet Punch damage, then that's actually okay. I have the HP to do so, and the Jirachi can actually then get the luxury of clicking a move. Right? Which is cool. Metagross is going to take Spikes damage coming in. If that is what he's going to do. If he goes Darkrai, I think I instantly swap into Hydrapple, because I'm still scared of a potential Scarf. I don't have much information about this Darkrai other than the fact it's not Specs, so... we shall see. I don't think he goes Florges here, though, to be honest. I don't really want to give information about this set yet. If he goes Metagross, he takes the 12.5 from Spikes, he takes about 10% from U-turn. The Metagross might not be in range for much. This might be tough. Yeah, this might be tough. It's a close one. Once again, Lyrickz taking his sweet time with this decision. Respect for that. Okay, he goes Darkrai. Honestly, that's kind of best case scenario for me. I think I no-brainer go into Hydrapple here. I do have to keep in mind I don't have my Assault Vest anymore, and I am terrestrialized into the Fairy type, so if he does read me here and goes for the Sludge Bomb, great play. But how much does that really do? It does have the chance to 2-hit me. That really sucks, but I mean, I think this is my only play. I can't risk him being Scarfed Ice Beam and clicking that, so I'm gonna swap. Yep, and he probably is, given that play. Takes the Doom Desire. Fantastic. And I'm just gonna Giga Drain here. I'm so happy to see that. I'm pretty sure Scarflando just wins the game now. I think he threw there. I think he really had to go into Metagross. Okay, he goes into this. I don't think I think I just beat this 1v1. I haven't seen much to tell me otherwise. I don't think Floor just gets any like poison or steel moves. I know this thing like doesn't get much coverage at all. Pretty much only gets Fairy, Psychic, and Grass moves, so I think I just keep Giga Draining this. Let me actually see what the Florges spread is. I just did 29 to the Florges, so it's pretty squishy actually. It's more offensive. So what if I take out its HP? Probably is 0 HP. It might just be max speed, max special attack. Based on these calcs. Terra Blast does ever so slightly more damage than Giga Drain. And with its Draining Kiss, now that I don't have AV, I am outpacing it if I keep Giga Draining, so I'm going to do that. I am outpacing it. He does keep his Darkrai around, and he's at 13%, so I don't think he dies to spikes, and that because unless that's exactly 12.5 and it's rounded up. Okay, Moonblast, that does a lot. Shit. Okay, I think this is where I sack Jirachi. I think I have to. Yeah. Regenerate that damage off so I can live a hit from the Darkrai. If he gives me the opportunity, I'm going to get another Doom Desire off. Actually, is that my play? I think I'm Moonblast at this point. I'm faster than this. Really? Okay, he's not max speed then. He's like somewhere in between. It's strange. He was fast enough to outspeed my Quillfish, but not fast enough to outspeed my 0 speed Jirachi. That's pretty fascinating. Not quite sure what's going on there. I'm sacking. He's choiced. If he... Yeah, he bullet punches. So, again, let me get the Banded Metagross up here on the calc. I'm pretty sure my play every time is to go into Lando. His choice Banded. It's level 100. Landorus takes about 40% to that. And if he is Terra Fairy, I think I 2-hit KO him with the Earthquake. Yeah. So, and that's actually if he's got a lot of HP investment, which I don't even know if he has. So it does have the potential to kill if he's not HP. If he is HP, then he gets 2-code by this, and I beat him in the 1v1. So, gonna just go in, click Earthquake. He is going to elect to stay in. He is pretty much the set I thought he would be. And he is going to die to this Earthquake. And I think I'm going to... It's playoffs, right? So differential doesn't matter. I'm not going to risk swapping at all. I'm just going to stay in and click Earthquake. And if he's Scarf Darkrai... Actually, he may even die to Spikes, but I don't think he does. I think he lives on 1%. But I am going to stay in if he's not Scarf... Oh, he actually does die to the Spikes. Okay, so... Perfect. GG to Lyrickz. That was a great game. I'm really impressed by how we kind of pulled back from what I thought was a pretty poorly positioned lead from his perspective. He was just kind of starting on the back foot and took a while to get back off of it, but he didn't lose too much in doing so, which was really good on him. Yeah, great game to Lyrickz. It was really fun to play against you, dude. Really scary team, and you really gave me a good match. So thank you again for playing. That was a lot of fun, and thank you everybody for watching. I will thankfully be able to see you guys next week for round 2 of the playoffs. I'll record that as well and upload that so you guys can hear my thought process of things. Once again, thanks for watching, and have a good one. Bye.